Good day, welcome to African Youth Inventions. We are so happy to present you the first audiobook of a book series A1 with the title, Misleading of the African Mindset Volume 1 of 2. African Youth Inventions, AYI, is a multidisciplinary research center, research company, focus on Africa. We are offering a mindset and skills development through innovative education systems of African countries. Our aim is to stimulate the African youth mindset, to improve the condition of people throughout the continent and the world. We are empowering youth to be as productive and innovative as possible at a very young age to solve African issues. Our vision is to develop a unique African mindset, through innovative education systems. Our mission is to unite African youth and innovate African countries. And our dream is to drive and guide young people on saving the world. For more info about other audiobooks series are in a project, you can visit our website, www.africanyouth.inventions.co.za. Why Emery Lucambo wrote the Misleading of the African Mindset book. Misleading of the African Mindset is an analysis of how the African mindset has been conditioned through deliberate systems, referred throughout this book as DTCTC, divide them, control them and conquer. This work is based on three principal conflicts: political, ethnicity and religion. In 2012 Emery Bob Dylan Lucambo completed a national diploma in electrical engineering at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, CPUT. He went for a bachelor's degree at the University of South Africa, UNISA. Driven by a strong conviction and burning desires to see Africa as a self-driven and prosperous continent, he challenged himself to come up with a model project to alleviate this situation. In 2014, he came along with an idea to start a multidisciplinary research centers, the African Youth Inventions, AYI, with a function to deal about the causes of the three principal conflicts. He conducted a 3-year research to find the causes, which introduced some solutions that could be applied to end these conflicts, discussed throughout this book. Furthermore, other ideas will be applied under the AYI'S systems. Although the whole focus is on Africa, the recommendations are applicable to anyone throughout the world. Now is the start of the audiobook. Misleading of the African Mindset through the DTCTC system. Volume 1 of 2. By Emery Bob Dylan Lucambo. Quote, "The happiest people throughout this world are those who control their own feelings and mindset." Misleading of the African Mindset, through the DTCTC system, book series, A1, Volume 1 of 2, International Edition, 2018. Self-published by African Youth Inventions Proprietary Limited, Multidisciplinary Research Centers. Copyright 2018 by African Youth Inventions Company. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced or distributed in any form or by any means or stored in a database, electronic, photocopying, recording or retrieval system, without the prior written permission of the publisher. This book may not be lent, resold, hired out or otherwise disposed of by way of trade in any form of binding or cover other than that in which it is published, without the prior consent of the publishers. African Youth Inventions Book Series, A1 International Edition, first published in December 2017. Volume 1, ISBN 978-0620-67458 paperback. Printed in South Africa. Address for African Youth Inventions Company is located at 203 Siena Vasco Boulevard, Voortrekker Road, Vasco Estate, Cape Town, 7460. South Africa. You can find African Youth Inventions at www.africanyouth.inventions.co.za. Email, books@africanyouth.inventions.co.za. Phone +27 21 829 1558. Dedication. This book is dedicated to African youths and leaders. It has been written by the African Youth Inventions, AYI, company under a series of books program, as one of the visions of the company. We believe this would assist in dealing with many of the problems facing Africa and the world to date. The program is done in the hope that it will be of benefit to the society, especially for those who are struggling, based on the colonial mindsets. This has continued to affect many generations, within a system described throughout this book as divide them to control them and conquer, DTCTC system. To date, most African leaders are taking long to end the causes of frustrating African issues, while some of them are obviously engaged to implement changes. They only focus on things adopted from colonized systems. This helps us to a point, but leaves untouched the main devastation of the continent, which is the mindset, viewpoint, of most African people. A number of the African leaders focus on improving the infrastructure, the conditions of African people, education systems and other issues. These improvements are creating some skills and jobs on the continent. However, they are still struggling to enrich that system by focusing on ways to integrate modern systems and programs. These will go beyond the system we have inherited and offer us a new mindset for the problems Africans are facing at this moment. In the 21st century, many African countries are governed by qualified leaders, doctors, engineers, and generals, among others. However, these educated leaders are taking long to improve rapidly the continent's economy and the conditions of Africans. This is because they are relying on the ex-colonial countries' systems, entrenched in the African political and educational systems. While skills growth is promoted, there is less emphasis on stimulating the developing of the critical mindsets, which are vital for developing Africa and its people. In the hope of introducing some solutions and ideas for tackling African problems, the multidisciplinary research company, AYI, has introduced its first book series. The book gives the context and detail about the problems affecting and continuing to destroy the happiness of Africans. It offers some solutions based on the mind and skills development as a proposal to the African people. These measures are mainly intended for the youth to adopt, as part of the solutions that will bring changes on the continent, to be more productive. Acknowledgements. I would like to thank everyone who supported me in writing this book, especially Donald Nunya, for spending countless hours, on the last days to edit the English version of my first print volume 1 of 2. To my family, I have valued your unconditional support, and to Nombusom Zimla for assisting me in the preparation of the book launching. Thanks to all African leaders who are making a change through African youth mindset development. My gratitude goes to those in the rest of the world who are making a difference within African people's lives. Finally, my appreciation goes to all the people who are currently reading and recommending this book to other people. Comment. The company would like to hear from you. As a reader, after reading this book, Volume 1 of 2, you are the most important critic and commentator. We would like to know what we're doing right, what we could do better, what areas you'd like to see us continue publishing in our book series. We welcome your remarks and value your opinion. You may contact us via email or write a letter to tell us your thoughts about this book. Please, when you write, include this book's title and author's name, as well as some of your details. We will carefully review your comment and implement the necessary changes in the coming book, based on your support. Thank you. Preface. This book, entitled Misleading of the African Mindset Through the DTCTC System, has been written to encourage anyone who has lost hope. This is caused by the many adverse things happening in this world, in general, and Africa, in particular. It's also dedicated to Africans who are mostly mentally traumatized because of the distortion in many political systems. This has exacerbated the instability through African leadership ties, with the influences of some Western countries' leaders, who use the DTCTC system to imprison African mindsets. In this book you will Find many ways to discover the beauty that is hidden in your future. Understand that your mindset and faith are the keys to your success. When your mindset becomes confused, your faith fails you. But when clarity is reached, your faith is produced. You will learn new ways of seeing things within both your good and terrible moments. You will discover how to trust and encourage yourself when there is no one around you. Like how to create joy in your bad moments, to respond to those who love you and those who don't, to create an opportunity for your next career and for others, and to maintain that success and make an impact in this world. This book will help you to understand the system throughout the world and things that lead us to act like savages, to hate each other. When we don't understand what is going on in our lives, to discover how to face these systems and how to succeed in these situations, to be a happier person without being dominated by others. Learn to respond with more love and compassion. It is important to understand how some African politicians and religious leaders attempt to control people's mindsets. You will also learn about some of Africa's heroic leaders who have made an impact and have contributed to the changed conditions of some African people's histories. You will discover the statistics of each African country, area size, subdivision, population codes, ethnic groups, religion, and history, among other issues. In addition, you will discover how the four main African ethnic groups, families and other smaller numbers of families, are further divided into thousands of sub-ethnic groups found throughout the continent. This leads us into many of our modern problems because of lack of understanding. The book is divided into 2 volumes, with 5 sections. Volume 1 of 2 has an introduction which unveils the reader to our mindset development guidelines. The rest of the book is divided into 3 separate sections. The first is the mindset development section, which introduces the importance of a critical and developmental mindset in our lives. The second is the African battles section, which introduces the causes of why African people are failing to reach optimal productivity, along with proposals to address this shortcoming. The third section focuses on African religious leaders. It shows how leadership has used religion to construct a particular mindset which fails to address Africa's unique problems, along with some proposals on how to address these shortcomings. This includes the descriptions of early religion systems in the world, particularly those with the most adherents, with some subdivisions or sects stemming from them. Volume 2 of 2 is composed of 2 sections, starting from the 4th section, African political leaders. It introduces us to the causes of African political leadership's failure to transform the independent African economies, with some proposals on how to address these shortcomings. The 5th, as the last section, focuses on the statistics of Africa, including demographics and history of each African country, and other statistics, countries' subdivisions, codes, borders, size areas, ethnicities, etc. This helps to give us a context for the African countries we are discussing in the audiobook. Introduction of the Misleading of the African Mindset Volume 1 of 2 audiobook. Misleading of the African Mindset. The subject matter of the misleading of the African mindset through the DTCTC system continues to affect the livelihood of the majority of Africans through 3 principal conflicts: political, ethnicity, and religion. These stresses and confuses the Africans' mindsets, leading to instabilities of nations. These leading conflicts predominate and have continued to destroy the future of African people's lives due to some lack of understanding, African educational systems, their conditions of living, and exacerbated through leadership divisions. These struggles are discussed throughout Volume 1 and 2 books. This Volume 1 discusses 2 subjects, namely, the Africans' mindsets and the religious leaders. Volume 2 focuses on 1 subject, Africa's political leaders, and extra information based on statistics, includes ethnic groups and history, of each African country. To date, in 2018, continental educational systems, the conditions of living and leadership, affect the Africans' mindsets. This is entrenched and controlled by political and religious conflicts. The religious leaders in Africa are causing some of the divisions, based on the two populous religions, Christianity and Islam, as well as some other original African traditional religions. European and Arabic empires introduced these two religions to African kingdoms. The combination of the two religions produces between 75 to 95% of African adherents. To date, the majority of the leadership of these religions are some of the causes of the religious conflicts on the continent. The political leaders in Africa are leading the division of ethnic groups and colors, of which the majority are descended from the four main African families, including a small number of the other world families. These are divided into thousands of subgroups of ethnicity. They are the cause and supervisors of some of the political and ethnic conflicts across the continent. The world conflicts of politics and religions are generally controlled and supported by some Western countries' leaders, Europeans and Americans, in which they maintain control over some of the continent's countries and its people. The majority of African countries are generally under the control of some of the Western systems, Europe and America systems. These systems control the continent's education and economic systems, as well as the African's mindset through media, institutes, military, political and religious governances. The ethnic conflicts, skin color classifications and nationalities, are usually controlled and supported by some African leaders, in which they maintain their power for longer periods, against constitutional laws of governance. All these control systems are referred throughout this book as the DTCTC system, divide them, control them and conquer system. Divide them, it is to divide people into several groups, with a different way of thinking or mindsets, in the systems of racial groups, nationalities, political and religious division, in order to maintain control through the people. This is a system which holds African peoples from being united. Control them, it is to control these systems over long periods, by making sure to manipulate people's minds through education and media systems, economic, skin and ethnic distinctions, political and military power, and the use of religion as scare tactics. They created the leadership and division systems, political parties and countries, to conquer, to have full authority over African nations and its people. Some Western countries' leaders or the ex-colonizers, after the Berlin Conference, in 1884-85, turned Africa and its people into organizations, from kingdoms to countries. Subdivisions by areas and borders, based on ethnic groups. This was done to control and maintain power in these organizations, for their benefit. For some corrupt African leaders, conquer their dreams, mainly by supporting the ethnic group's conflict within the country. This allows them to maintain their power with military rule and control each separated group, like the kingships. African Youth Inventions, AYI, is a multidisciplinary research company in Africa. It focuses on mindset and skills development and innovation systems to improve the quality of life of the African people. AYI'S dream is to drive the African continent's youth to make more changes throughout the world and uplift the quality of the Africans' lifestyles. This led AYI'S CEO to believe that, if we do not learn much about our past, our nations will remain unstable. Therefore, he has led the company to introduce its first volume of book series A1. The book has been written as one of the solutions to abolish the culture of the DTCTC system. He believes by developing our characteristic rare solutions to our personal unequal problems in Africa, our potential can be improved and transcend the inequality foisted upon us by the Western systems and our own enslaved mindset. Politics, religion, and mindset control are some of the main elements of knowledge that help all human beings to improve their living conditions. These elements, which play such a vital role in our development, can also become obstacles which impede our development and degrade our existence and environment. The biggest negative impact falls on the majority of African youth, whose futures lie in some corrupt leaders' systems. Some of these systems do not enhance their development and are likely to destine them to a life of poverty, ignorance and control. These systems do not only affect their lives but are also continuing to devastate the future of the African continent. Politics is the work and ideas that are connected with the government. The work and ideas that are used to govern and serve a country's internal affairs and external administration. Religion is the acceptance of believing in a god/goddess, or belief in the worship of a supernatural being, power regarded as the creator and governor of the universe. It is also a pursuit of a great conscientious devotion. Mindset, it's a fixed attitude or a characteristic attitude, which determines how a person interprets and responds to situations. Mindset is the result of a human being's regular thoughts, and also the main key of human beings to succeed or fail within their entire life. When happiness, faith, peace, kindness and positive ideas dominate through a mindset of a human being, there is a significant chance for a human being to succeed in their dreams. These are the main keys that lead a human being to succeed in their dreams and enjoy their lives. When depression, lack of faith, stress, confusion, anger, jealousy, and negative ideas dominates a mindset of a human being, they are likely to fail in their dreams. For any human being to enjoy their entire life or succeed through their dreams, there are some basic life principles and practices they need to adopt. Primarily, they need to learn to control their mindset and having faith in what they believe as a choice for their happiness. They also need to set a self-discipline code, which will help them to achieve greatness and work hard on what they want to achieve. Finally, they need to learn to share their success with others too. For more, all these principles are discussed and illustrated in Figure 1, in the electronic file or paper book. Basic Life Principles Diagram. The Basic Life Principles Diagram contains some guidelines you may like to apply in your life. These guidelines can help you to succeed or change your living conditions. You could use any set of guidelines, as long as they lead you to success and allow you to care more for others. Descriptions of the Basic Life Principles Diagram. Mindset. Every person's life is controlled by their mind. It functions with positive and negative reactions to accomplish great things, dreams, inventions, etc. In this world, there are always paired conditions or actions that need to be taken and applied. It's difficult to accomplish something new, or a great action, with a singularity. In any dream or plan, you will start alone, but in the end, you will need help from others to achieve your aims. Similarly, our mindset will produce two kinds of reactions, negative and positive thoughts, ideas, suggestions and imaginations, generated from awareness or consciousness. However, if the negativity dominates your mindset, most of your ideas and imagination will lead you to a life of pain or unhappiness or both. This negative mindset will not only affect your life but other people's lives around you. In contrast, if most of your ideas and imaginations that are produced through your mindset are positive, you will have joy in your life. This will help you to use that joy to help others. The most important lesson to draw from these basics is, you can learn to be in control of your own mindset. If you manage this, you will start to control how much positive and negative thoughts are leading your life. In section 1 of this book, you will learn more about how to control your mindset by yourself. When you succeed, you will be able to create a character within your mindset, which is called faith. This is the act of having confidence on anything you believe you can achieve by yourself. For the atheists, non-believers in any gods, or to God, Allah; for the theists, believers in God or gods. Faith helps you to build a positive mindset. Once you really understand what you want to become tomorrow or start to focus on your dreams and plans, whatever your circumstances, you will more easily achieve the plans and dreams set in your mindset. When you let your mindset to be controlled by other human beings, you will end up with more negative ideas. These ideas will drive the unproductive imaginations because you are out of self-control. When you are allowing your dreams to be based on other people's conceptions and dreams and not on your own, it can only give unpleasant outcomes of the destruction of your wishes or be living a prediction life. If you want to achieve something, you must believe through your faith that one day you will accomplish your dreams. This will encourage you to set goals and plans that strongly need self-discipline. This allows you to make positive decisions more easily. If you don't believe in your faith and fail self-discipline in your plans, you will continue living an inadequate lifestyle. You will be wasting most of your time by continuing to doubt yourself because you don't know if you might achieve your dreams. Other people's negative suggestions will hinder you from ever accomplishing those dreams. Some voices will say it is too hard, you are not clever enough, you don't have sufficient resources to finish it, etc. After letting yourself down, through allowing other people to control your mindset, they may stop you from believing in your faith and will likely fail you. This will lead you into confusion, a confusion that will rob you of a life of focus. Believing in your faith in order to achieve your dreams, you need to work hard. Do not expect miracles when you work less. Do not complain about God, for theists, not granting your prayers when you have stopped working on those same prayers. Following this path will lead you to live in confusion. Confusion will lead you to working less, sleeping incessantly, drinking too much or giving up on something. In the same way, when you're failing so many times by repeating the identical actions, wasting most of your time on things that aren't related to your dreams. Working hard will lead you to success and working less hard will lead you to fail in your dream. Remember, success and failure will both bring you trouble. However, failure will bring you unhappiness, stress, depression, anger, and jealousy. This will lead you to an uncontrolled life. Success, on the other hand, will bring you happiness and enemies, but the most important thing is the choice you make. If you choose only happiness, this will lead you to control your dreams and plans. This will result in control of your temper, behavior and learning to respect other people. You will not be treating them as less worthy because they have failed to achieve what you have. If you can't control your success and choose to lose yourself between both points, this will lead you to an uncontrolled life. In this world, if you are out of control, you'll be in trouble with people, have more enemies, and be the problem on other people's feelings. This can only lead you to a short life. If you can control your success, you need to share your achievement with others, such as your family, friends, neighbors, as well as all the other people around you. Sharing your success with others allows you to build relationships in which, when you get into trouble with your dream, if there will be no one to assist you, this may lead you back to pain as well as to a short life, except if you share with others. While some might never care about you, when you fail and things go wrong, there will be others who will carry you through. This happens if during your achievement you have not rejected anyone or treated them as less worthy, and you have managed to share with some of them. There will always be some of the people who will have seen your contribution and shared your achievement. They will come to assist you because of the love you have shown the world. They will believe in you if you can regain control of your achievement, and that they still might find happiness through you. This will lead you to a life of happiness, a long life filled with respect. Sharing will always bring you greatness. Even those who don't love you will learn to respect you for your actions. Our mindsets are under control. A human being's mind consists of two levels. In other words, our mind is executed or works under two controls of one mind. The first level of the mind controls our mindset or thoughts, known as the conscious mind, and the second level stores our regular thoughts, known as the subconscious mind. Note, many other people, articles or some books represent these levels under three categories: the conscious, subconscious and unconscious mind. Some other articles might consist of more than three levels. However, to avoid confusion, this entire book discussion defines the mind under two levels. These are the conscious mind as the first level and the subconscious, include the unconscious, mind as the second level. This is described more in section 1 below. Furthermore, the two levels operate like a computer, which is controlled by a personal user. You are a personal user in your own mind. However, due to lack of understanding, the majority of people throughout this world today are controlled by the influences of our beloved ones' thoughts, scientists, politicians and religious or traditional leaders, as our personal users. They control the majority of people's mindset. Most of the world's people think that God is our guide, controller, or a personal user, who has the power to control our mindset. At the same time, God is an infinity of love, so I can't understand when some of the religious leaders ask you to shun your neighbors because they belong to a different religion, and you do so. This means there is a disjuncture between what some leaders teach about God and the true essence of God. When your politicians give you heavy weapons to go and kill another human being, do you do so? This approach considers another human being is not of your family or not from the same ethnic group or country. If one scientist in your country designs any brand new technology like a nuclear bomb, you are proud of the man and the modern technologies. The expectation is, you are able to use that weapon to treat people from other countries as inferior because they don't have someone who can design their own atomic weapons. If your beloved one, like your parent, best friends, partner or your leader, talk bad about others, your neighbors, new friends or co-workers, do you hate that particular person or people without first investigating about what your beloved one said if it is true? This approach of letting emotion to drive our mindset mostly leads us to fail us to achieve greatness. This is because we don't understand that success can only be achieved by meeting more friends and working together to discover new ideas and shared knowledge, to build a better world in general and Africa in particular. A minority of human beings' mindsets are controlled by themselves, whether we are referring to theists or atheists, religious or non-religious people. These controlling minorities are the people who are controlling other people's mindsets, some destroying and others improving the world. Among these minorities are some of the people who are controlling people through political and economic systems that construct our mindsets. The rest of these minorities are controlling people through religious ideologies, especially for the vast majority of believers. Notice that all human beings are free to choose whatever way they want to follow. Their senses are other people's mindset, even for those who believe in God, Allah. There is no reference mentioned in any religious book that a human being must be a slave of the scriptures. Instead, these books include the messages that guide all believers to follow. In which, if they want to be part of these religions, they may be and anticipate promises being rewarded at the end without forcing or imposing anything upon them. However, today, some people who have control of political and religious ideologies are using this knowledge to control other people's mindsets. This is done in many ways of interpretations or teaching methods, for their own interests, as discussed more in section 3. This is particularly true for some Africans who drive hatred in the continent. Some politicians and religious leaders with negative mindsets are promoting policies and practices that are affecting our economies and the landscape, leading to destructions in our living conditions. The African child's mindset is totally under the control of those who practice these knowledge controls. It's like the operating systems for computers, where you want to run your computer with Windows 7, 8 or 10, for Windows operating machines, macOS 8, 9 or X10.9, for Macintosh operating systems machine, among others. It should be up to you to decide which system you want to use at any given time. However, when the manufacturers design a computer, they decide what system to put in, whether you like it or not. The same with our first mindset. It never ever depends on ourselves. It always starts with the environmental awareness, with what our parents, the environment or the country we were born in, provided and planted in our primary mind, and they were stored in our subconscious. This is the result of our feelings and the actions of what we live regularly and becomes the default mindset. We grow up with the same system they planted in our mind from when we were young. Some religious doctrines and political philosophies continue to dominate our mindset. This fosters us to think positively and negatively, with ideas or imaginations that are continuing to lead us into suffering, poverty, criminality, pain and divisions. Some people succeed in it, but the majority of people have been enslaved under the yoke of these systems. This is especially true on the African continent. Some have died without enjoying this world, and others don't even know what is going on in their lives. Scientists sometimes help us to solve the modern problems throughout the world, but some of them are also the sources of much of its environmental destruction because negative ideas are dominating global mindsets. Those who have understood the role a positive mindset, controlled by the self, can play in saving our world are using this understanding to make their lives shine. They are also sharing this with others to find solutions for saving the world. Meanwhile, others are using negative mindsets to control populations across the globe, predominantly in Africa, to sustain mindsets that dominate. This is done to exploit the peoples of the globe. They construct stories, influence and confuse people with media, TV, movies, speeches, and books, among other things. This is in order that you may believe in their ways of thinking and control. However, this book will introduce you to some ideas that will help you enjoy your life and play a positive role. This is applicable, not only in your own life but also in your communities, countries and on the global stage. Thanks for listening to the introduction of Misleading of the African Mindset book written by Emery Lucambo. The audiobook 2 is available, which record the section 1 of the book The Mindset Development, by searching the African Youth Inventions channel into YouTube and download or listening to the rest of audiobook 2, 3 and 4 for free. You can purchase the full book. Copy is available into all the exclusive bookshops around South Africa. For all people in and out of South Africa, you can also purchase the electronic copy or order the paperback under the African Youth Inventions website at www.africanyouthinventions.co.za. Please do not forget to subscribe to African Youth Inventions YouTube channel. We would like to keep you updated about our projects coming and hearing your suggestions for the benefit of all people live in Africa and the rest of the world. You may also follow us on Twitter and like or join our Facebook page and group. Thanks again.